And, that's the whole point of peaceful revolutions and trying to get people to really just, try to wake up to how to create a revolution, what causes change. And if people really look at history, they'll notice that the only change comes from true leadership. Very few times through violence has change been brought. Now, this country was made through violent radical change, but that was a last resort. Now, we certainly are not at our last resort. Everyone knows that. We're far from that. There's many options, many opportunities, and when we gather in large numbers, it is so important to take advantage of peaceful civil disobedience, because really we don't really gather in large numbers anymore, and it always gets covered. So it's funny to see that every time it happens, there's always somebody trying to get everyone to get angry and get upset and make us look dumb and bad. And so those are the people I usually pay attention to, because I think either they're not familiar with what the New World Order wants us to look like or look bad, or they're just dumb. And it's nothing personal, but that's why it's so important that we remain peaceful. We have speakers, we have events, we actually try to go to the media, we try to do maybe a march, we wear shirts, we walk with banners. You do something with a message so that people can hear what you believe, and then you create change. But nobody's going to listen to anybody who's creating violence or creating havoc or just upset. They're just going to think that person needs to be, the average person I'm thinking here is what they think. That person needs to be, beaten into submission. And surprisingly, that's almost always what happens in those kinds of situations.
Well, they want a reason to let off rubber bullets. They want a reason to throw out the gas cans. And you're right. There are those people out there that have just awoken to the fact that this administration is evil, that they're liars, and they're ignorant to the other facts that previous administrations have been this evil. They've just been slicker, that it's not about Republican or Democrat. They just know they're mad, and what they do is that, for instance, my buddy Nate out in Colorado, out in Portland, one of his good friends, got this email. He's like, yeah, I'm going, go recreate 68. And he brought that up with me. He's like, yeah, he says he's going to this thing. And I said, you better warn him that this is going to be a provocateur event. And I sent him the website with the shields, and he's like, oh my God, this isn't the right thing. So it's very easy for them to suck in the ignorant masses that just know that something's wrong. And these people genuinely think they're doing something positive. They're trying to bring change, when in fact they're going to be just another part of this controlled paradigm in order to make movements like ours, Jonathan, look awful.
Right, and they'll make us look violent, they'll make us look bad. And when peace protests break out in violence, this empowers the police state, and it's used as a pretext to further bolster the imperialist philosophies peace organizations have worked so hard to curtail in our society. Our concern is legitimate that the DNC will be provoked towards violence. Our evidence is the statements made by these organizations, their own websites, past actions, and it's all presented in articles I released. I was attacked personally almost immediately for even having any dissent against these groups or having a different opinion. And I've had people confront me, and they've read the attack articles against me, and they are not familiar with my articles or my proof or my evidence. And they're like, oh, I've heard this, that, and the other about you, and you need to shut up, and you need to stop talking about this. And it's amazing, because you can really see the power that the collective masses really have when they don't pay attention to what they're doing.
The power of disinformation, Jonathan.
Oh yeah, and it's almost kind of intimidating and scary at points, because I for a while there I was kind of rebuttaling those attack articles, but they just kept coming and coming, and emails kept coming and coming. So I decided to take the high road and just walk and say, you know what, look, I said my piece, I blew the whistle. This is not about me. This is about whether or not people understand my message, which is be peaceful. Let's pull our heads together. Let's do something, correct. I'm not against activism in any way. I'm an activist myself. I'm just concerned for the safety of 9/11 truthers down there. I think that this is a great situation to make us look bad, and that's what I got when I went to the meetings. That's exactly what I felt. That's what I witnessed, and that's all I needed to back away from that group immediately. So, that was just a sharing of my experience. And I
no,
hope
you did the right thing.
It.
I mean, you did the right thing, and you exposed them. And you're right. Look at the power of the mockingbirds. The people that aren't familiar with our information, they're not even going to take a look at the information, and that's why the mainstream media has been somewhat successful in suppressing 9/11 truth, because the majority of Fox News viewers don't know what 9/11 truth is, just what has been represented by those like Neil Cavuto and Bill O'Reilly and Sean Insanity and even Alan Combs. I'm not going to give him a pass. You know, just these talking heads and what they've said about 9/11 truth. They're not actually going to go on to our website and check out our evidence. They're not going to go to Google Video and watch Loose Change Final Cut for free. You know, we're putting this stuff out there for free to the masses because our nation's on its last legs. If they carry out another false flag terror attack, God knows what they're going to do. The provisions for martial law are in place. In fact, a lot of people don't know this, Jonathan, but isn't it a fact that martial law was declared in Florida in the days before 9/11 when Jeb Bush was running that state?
Yeah, 4 days before, if I'm not mistaken, he declares martial law.
How convenient.
And yeah, you know, and there was so much that came out of Florida that would have required the military to overrule the police in their investigations, you know, because I guess that was needed. And I mean, come on, this guy. What's so funny about declaring martial law in advance of 9/11 is all the evidence of all the whistleblowers that came out of Florida, all the FBI agents, all the people who knew, like Top Sticker and stuff, who investigated Muhammad Atta. They knew almost immediately that there was going to be massive investigations into the many months and I think over a year spent by some of the hijackers in Florida. And had Jeb Bush not declared martial law, all that information would have came out because the press would have had carte blanche and went out and found out all this stuff. And once he declared martial law, well, that made it really easy for anyone who wanted to ask questions. They needed to be going to the military to get their answers. And we all know the military follows orders under national security, especially under martial law. Under martial law, anything goes. So really, that just meant that Jeb Bush is going to give you your information from now on. Don't even bother looking into anything.
And he also set up a safe house, really, for his brother. You know, the attacks take place, and his brother's in Florida. What a coincidence. We're talking to Jonathan Ellenoff of We Are Change, Colorado. This is the Alex Jones Show. I am Jason Burmas. My little website is loosechange911.com. You can go to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And if you want to see the 4th hour video feed, folks, it's over at PrisonPlanet.tv for members. We'll be back after this. Folks, we're back. It is the Alex Jones Show. I'm Jason Burmas, subbing in while Alex and the gang are down at Bilderberg, bringing you the news that matters, covering a conference that is going to determine what happens in this country over the next 12 months, and really around the world. It's going to be deciding a lot of our foreign and domestic policy. The media will not be covering this. They're going to act like it didn't even happen. And John Edwards, who has now been confronted about Bilderberg on several occasions, he says he was there for energy policy, this and that. The last time he was confronted, they asked him, well, why doesn't the media cover Bilderberg? And he said, you know, that's a good question. Typical politician answer. I just want to let everybody else know out there, with all the junk food we eat, it's important that we do our very best to take care of our digestive system. New Vitality, one of our great sponsors, makes this show possible, has a product called Aloes. Aloes is an herbal dietary supplement developed to support healthy digestive function and even helps maintain weight loss. Aloes is all-natural ingredients nutritionally support regularity and assist your body in removing accumulated waste. It contains 30 synergistically balanced natural herbs and enzymes and works together to improve overall health. Do your body a favor and click on the big banner over at the middle of Infowars.com or give them a call at 1-800-569-4056. That's 1-800-569-4056.